Maria stared at the 3 words on the medical report that would change everything. Invasive ductal carcinoma. At 49, she had just been handed a battle she never saw coming. Have you ever received news that made your legs give out? That moment when your world splits into before and after? When a doctor's voice becomes distant static because your mind is screaming too loud to process anything beyond those devastating words. Maria sat in that sterile office chair, thinking about her 2 teenagers at home, about soccer games she might miss, about birthdays she might not see, about all the ordinary moments that suddenly felt precious beyond measure. The treatments would be aggressive. The side effects would be brutal. The outcome? We'll take it one day at a time, her oncologist said, which felt like the medical equivalent of "we don't know." But what if I told you that Maria's kitchen became more powerful than any pharmacy? That 5 simple foods you probably have in your refrigerator right now, help her not just survive, but emerge stronger than she'd been in years? If you know someone fighting this battle, hit that like button and let them know they're not alone in the comments, because Maria's story is about to change how you think about food forever. Maria was about to discover something that would give her back control. When everything felt completely out of control, the drive home from Dr. Martinez's office passed in a blur. Maria gripped the steering wheel, trying to focus on traffic lights and stop signs instead of the word cancer echoing in her head like a broken record. Walking to her front door felt like stepping into a different universe. One where her 16-year-old son Jake was complaining about algebra homework, and her 14-year-old daughter Sophie was arguing with someone on the phone about weekend plans. Normal teenager chaos that now seemed impossibly precious. "How did it go, Mom?" Jake asked without looking up from his textbook. Maria opened her mouth to say fine, the automatic response that keeps families functioning. Instead, she sat down at the kitchen table and told them the truth. Sophie's phone call ended abruptly. Jake's pencil stopped moving. The silence stretched until it became unbearable, filled with all the questions nobody wanted to ask and all the answers nobody wanted to hear. The next few weeks brought a crash course in medical vocabulary nobody should have to learn. Chemotherapy, port placement, white blood cell counts. Side effects that made Maria feel like her body was betraying her from the inside out. By week 3 of treatment, Maria couldn't recognize herself in the mirror. Her hair had started falling out in clumps. Her skin looked gray and papery. The woman who used to run 5 miles every Saturday morning could barely walk to the mailbox without exhaustion. But it was the helplessness that hurt most. Maria had built her life around being the problem solver, the caretaker, the one who made everything okay for everyone else. Now she was a problem that couldn't be solved with a casserole and good intentions. One Tuesday evening, while her family ate takeout pizza in the living room, Maria found herself alone in the kitchen, crying over the sink. Everything felt foreign: her body, her future, her ability to protect the people she loved most. That's when Dr. Martinez's words from her last appointment surfaced through the fog. "Medicine will fight the cancer, Maria, but nutrition can be your armor. Food isn't just fuel, it can be medicine." Share this video with someone who needs hope right now, because what Maria discovered next would transform not just her health, but her entire family's future. That night, after Jake and Sophie went to bed, Maria opened her laptop with a determination she hadn't felt since her diagnosis. If she couldn't control the cancer, maybe she could control how she fought it. She dove into survivor stories, medical journals, and nutritional research with the intensity of someone whose life depended on it. Because it did. Story after story of women who had beaten the odds, not just through medical treatment, but by transforming what they ate into weapons against cancer. The science was compelling. Certain foods contain compounds that could literally stop cancer cells from growing, protect healthy cells from damage, and support the body's natural healing processes. Maria discovered 5 powerhouse foods that kept appearing in every study, every survivor story, every doctor's recommendation. First, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and kale. Maria grimaced. She'd hated broccoli since childhood, but the research was undeniable. These vegetables contained something called sulforaphane, a compound that could actually trigger cancer cells to self-destruct while leaving healthy cells alone. Second, berries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries. packed with antioxidants and flavonoids that acted like tiny bodyguards, protecting cells from the kind of damage that leads to cancer in the first place. Third, fatty fish like salmon and sardines, loaded with omega-3 fatty acids that reduce inflammation throughout the body. Cancer thrives in inflammatory environments, so this was like removing the welcome mat. Fourth, turmeric, the golden spice that had been fighting disease for thousands of years before modern medicine existed. Its active compound, curcumin, was showing remarkable results in slowing cancer growth and reducing treatment side effects. Finally, beans and lentils, humble, affordable foods that provided both protein for rebuilding strength and fiber that research linked to lower cancer recurrence rates. Maria stared at her list. These weren't exotic superfoods available only in specialty stores. These were ordinary ingredients she could find at any grocery store. Foods that could fit into family meals without turning dinner into a medical experiment. For the first time since her diagnosis, Maria felt something she'd almost forgotten. Hope mixed with determination. Her kitchen was about to become her laboratory. But knowing about these foods and actually eating them, especially while dealing with chemotherapy's effect on taste and appetite, were two completely different battles. Week one of Maria's nutrition experiment was a disaster wrapped in good intentions. Her first attempt at a cancer-fighting smoothie looked like swamp water and tasted worse. Jake took one sip and made a face that suggested she'd accidentally used dish soap instead of berries. "Mom, this is punishment food," Sophie declared, pushing away a bowl of what Maria had optimistically called healing lentil soup, but which more closely resembled brown sludge. Maria's husband David tried to be supportive, choking down her over-seasoned salmon while making encouraging noises. But even he couldn't hide his relief when she suggested ordering pizza instead. That night, Maria sat in her kitchen surrounded by half-eaten experiments and wondered if she was fooling herself. Maybe sick people were supposed to eat sick people food. Maybe this was just another way to fail at something that used to come naturally. But Tuesday morning brought a breakthrough, born from necessity and teenage honesty. "Mom," Jake said, "what if we made the smoothie taste good first, then worry about the healthy stuff?" Sophie nodded. "Like, start with strawberries and bananas, things that actually taste like food, then sneak in the weird green stuff." So they did. Maria blended strawberries, blueberries, a banana, and just a handful of spinach. The result was purple instead of brown, and it tasted like berries with a hint of something fresh. "I can drink this," Jake announced, and Maria felt like she'd won a small victory. Week 2 brought sneaky broccoli mac and cheese, David's contribution to the cause. He steamed broccoli until it was soft, then blended it into the cheese sauce until it disappeared. The kids ate 3 bowls each without realizing they consumed more vegetables than they usually ate in a week. By week 3, something unexpected was happening. Maria's energy levels, which had been non-existent since chemotherapy started, were stabilizing, not returned to normal. That would be asking too much, but she could make it through the day without needing a nap. Her sleep improved. The mental fog that had made simple decisions feel overwhelming began to lift. Most surprising of all, she found herself craving the foods that had initially felt like medicine. The family began requesting favorites. Sophie asked for that golden soup, turmeric spice lentils with vegetables. Jake started putting berries on his cereal without being asked. David experimented with different ways to prepare salmon, turning Tuesday dinners into a family cooking adventure. Comment below with your own healing food discoveries. I read every single comment, and your experiences might help someone else on their journey. But the real transformation wasn't just happening in Maria's body. The kitchen had become the heart of the house in a way it hadn't been in years. Meal preparation turned into family time. Conversations about nutrition became conversations about hope, about fighting back, about taking control of what they could control. Neighbors started asking for recipes. Other parents at school events wanted to know about Maria's energy secret. She found herself becoming an informal nutrition guide for other cancer patients, sharing what she'd learned about making healing foods actually enjoyable. The ripple effect was spreading beyond her family, creating a community of people who believed that food could be medicine, that kitchens could be pharmacies, that hope could be cultivated one meal at a time. But the real test came during her next medical appointment. Dr. Martinez looked up from Maria's chart with a puzzled expression that gradually shifted to amazement. Maria, your white blood cell count is better than we typically see at this stage of treatment. Your energy levels, your skin tone, even your mood, everything suggests you're tolerating chemotherapy remarkably well. What are you doing differently? When Maria explained her nutrition journey, Dr. Martinez leaned forward with genuine interest. Tell me more about these foods. The science behind Maria's success wasn't mystical. It was measurable. Sulforaphane from those initially despised cruciferous vegetables was literally stopping cancer cells from multiplying while protecting healthy cells from chemotherapy damage. The antioxidants in berries were preventing the cellular damage that leads to more cancer. Omega-3s from fish were reducing the inflammation that helps tumors grow and spread. The turmeric Maria had been adding to soups and smoothies contained curcumin, which research showed could make cancer cells more vulnerable to treatment while protecting healthy cells. The fiber from beans and lentils was helping regulate hormones that can fuel certain types of breast cancer. But the benefits extended far beyond Maria's cancer treatment. David's cholesterol levels had improved so dramatically that his doctor reduced his medication. Sophie's chronic acne cleared up completely. Jake, who used to get sick every time someone at school sneezed, hadn't missed a day due to illness in months. It's like our whole family's immune system got an upgrade, Maria told her sister during one of their weekly phone calls. The improvements weren't just physical. The act of taking control through nutrition had restored Maria's sense of agency. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances beyond her control, she felt like an active participant in her healing. Research supported what Maria was experiencing. Studies showed that cancer patients who actively engaged in evidence-based nutrition strategies had better treatment outcomes, faster recovery times, and lower recurrence rates. Food wasn't just supporting her body, it was supporting her spirit. 6 months into her treatment, Maria's scans showed something that made Dr. Martinez smile for the first time since her diagnosis. The tumor had shrunk more than expected. Her body was responding to treatment better than predicted. The combination of medical intervention and nutritional support was working. But perhaps most importantly, Maria had discovered something that would serve her long after treatment ended. The knowledge that food could be medicine, that kitchens could be healing spaces, and that families could grow stronger in the face of crisis. Her informal support network had grown into a community of people sharing recipes, offering encouragement, and proving that healing happens not just in hospitals, but around dinner tables where love is served alongside carefully chosen nutrients. 2 years later, Maria stood in her kitchen preparing what had become the family's traditional Sunday dinner: herb-crusted salmon with roasted vegetables, a rainbow quinoa salad packed with berries, and her famous turmeric ginger tea that even the teenagers now requested when they felt under the weather. Her latest scans showed no evidence of disease. Her energy levels exceeded what they'd been before her diagnosis. Her family had developed eating habits that would protect them for decades to come. But the real victory wasn't just Maria's clean bill of health. It was the ripple effect that continued expanding. 3 neighbors had credited Maria's guidance with helping them through their own health challenges. Sophie had started a nutrition club at school. Jake planned to study biochemistry, fascinated by how food affects cellular function. Maria's journey had proven something that ancient healers knew, but modern medicine sometimes forgets. Food is medicine we choose 3 times a day. Every meal is an opportunity to heal, to protect, to nourish not just our bodies, but our hope for the future. The 5 foods that became Maria's allies, cruciferous vegetables, berries, fatty fish, turmeric, and legumes, weren't magic bullets. They were tools in a comprehensive approach to healing that included medical treatment, family support, and the powerful belief that we have more control over our health outcomes than we sometimes realize. Maria learned that she couldn't control her diagnosis, but she could control her response. Her kitchen became her pharmacy, her meals became her medicine, and her family became her strongest allies in healing. If Maria's story gives you hope, subscribe for more stories of healing and resilience that prove the extraordinary power of ordinary choices. Share this with someone who's fighting their own health battle. They need to know they're not powerless in their fight. Comment below with which of these 5 healing foods you're going to try first. Every small step toward better nutrition is a step toward a stronger, more resilient you. Sometimes the most powerful treatments aren't found in hospitals. They're growing in gardens, stocked in grocery stores, and waiting in your own kitchen for someone brave enough to believe that food can be the foundation of hope. The question isn't whether you'll face health challenges in life. It's whether you'll face them with a kitchen full of healing foods, a heart full of hope, and the knowledge that every meal is an opportunity to choose healing over surrender. Maria chose to fight back one bite at a time. What will you choose?